What's up, chat? Stop bothering me, son. I'm busy creating masterworks of art. Oh, are we drawing sexy Alex today with Gordon Gunnar Freeman? Gordon Freeman is not a Gunnar. He's a hero of Earth. No, we're drawing Street Fighter 3 Alex because the DLC is going to be released soon. Also, I didn't. This wasn't in the requester's request, but Alex is gonna be female because titties. Because this is official Street Fighter 3 concept art by Capcom. That's why. Capcom clearly wants us to lust after Alex Male's asshole. And I say, no, Capcom, I will not be gay. Instead, I will turn your character female. Just be a little gay as a treat. We're already gay enough on a daily basis. It's basically the only thing we do at this point, so... Not just this stream, but society as a whole. they really be like, for Street Fighter 3, we'll have a new character, and it will be gay, extremely toned Hulk Hogan. That was what Capcom was trying to force on us. And it failed spectacularly, and everybody still thinks that New is the same character, or the main character, not Alex. And every time they've included Alex in any of the games after that, he's always incredibly underpowered, and he's like usually at the lowest in terms of usage rates every single fucking time. Which is more of a Capcom balancing issue than... By the way, this is also official artwork here. They took the whole, like, reverse triangle body shape to the extreme, to the point that it almost looks feminine. I don't know how to explain it. Like, theoretically, like, this kind of shape is supposed to look masculine, but in the case of Alex, like, they take it so far, it kind of looks like... I think it's because of, like, the cum gutters going on. But there's something about him that looks extremely feminine, probably because, like, his, the way of it, he positions his legs or something. I don't know. It's all very weird. Hourglass, if not for the broad shoulders. Yeah, any kind of shape that even gets slightly close to the hourglass form kind of activates the male Coomer neurons. Doesn't matter if it's, you know, female or otherwise. Men can't help it. Honestly, my pecs kind of look like this. They're not this extreme, but I have more boobs than a lot of women in this country. My masculine chest muscles cause my t-shirt to pop out. $55 streams in a row. So you double that by the number of days, and that's like close to a third of a year, basically. Baseball enjoyer. I don't think it's good to be available for Twitch streams all the time. I would never debase myself to be like, I'm on call for this streamer. It seems like a bad use of your time, but I'm someone who can't even be asked to bother to respond to basic emails from people, so I'm like the ultimate version of like, I'm not available, so... You're my work background noise, so I'm technically still being productive. What I've learned about trying to watch shit with work is that if it includes like too much visual stimulation, I can't do shit, but audio only is fine in my case. I don't know about other people. Podcasts are good. Mixed bag with videos. Unfortunately, there's not enough podcasts to keep myself entertained if we're going audio only, so... Or I can look at just every few minutes. Yeah, nothing... No real progress is gonna happen. I ran out of true crime once to binge. Any true crime appreciator knows that because these things don't cover stuff like mundane shooting between two black teens in the south side of Chicago or something, eventually you get to the point where they're out of crime cases in which a white woman was murdered in a horrible fetishistic way, and then you start getting like the same cases repeated between like the 100 different true crime YouTube or podcast channels there are. Like, how often do you hear the name Casey Anthony mentioned? The answer is very, very often. Dead baby, possibly killed by babysitter. Oh yeah, we're getting an episode on that. But only if it's a white babysitter. I'm mostly grumpy they don't focus more on international cases. These people, they want maximum viewership with minimum effort, and international cases would force them to do way more research than they want to. The easiest channels are the one where they just get, like, whatever you call it, disclosure, legal, whatever, permission to just get the video footage from the police, Florida police office or something, and then just release it. And then some of them add a little bit of commentary, but it really is a very, very low workload way to have a YouTube channel that has millions of views. Because people can't be bothered to fucking, go to the source and release it themselves. But, like, everybody wants to fucking watch true crime content. It is really one of the easiest jobs. just get all these police footage, interrogation videos. What if John Benet Ramsey is in Cuba? What if it was John Benet Ramsey that killed Epstein, guys? Everybody thinks that they're on top of the conspiracy theory situation, but there are wheels inside wheels, my friend. None of you understand what's going on like I do. It was in fact John Benet Ramsey who both killed Epstein and JFK. It wasn't even an inside job. She was the perfect outsider. After she faked her death at a young age, she was free to operate completely silent within the system. It all makes sense now. And Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart is the one who is directing John Benet Ramsey to do the killings. If we're going to be topical, I just like to say that I'm getting really fucking sick of conspiracy theorists on the internet. Specifically because everybody who posts their conspiracy theory opinions on like the YouTube comments section thinks that they're like super smart and then they're the only person who thought of it. And like they're the only one who can see through the lies that are presented in the world. Like I clicked on a YouTube video last night of 2 American fighter jets getting shot down over Kuwait and the US releasing information that it was friendly fire. And like half of the comments in the sections were like, heh, I'm not like the other sheeple watching this channel. I know what's really going on. These US planes were shot down by Iran. Or these US planes were shot down by Kuwait on purpose. That's right, the US government doesn't want us to know what's actually happening. It's like, bro, are you fucking retarded? Like, anybody who knows anything about war knows that friendly fire is super, super common. Especially when you're operating in a situation in which like you haven't done any practices and combined joint exercises with the country that you're operating over, i.e. Kuwait. And B, I know all of you people think that like you're super fucking smart because you're the only person who has thought of this shit. But look through the comments and literally everybody in the comments is saying the exact same thing of you. So you ain't fucking smart and you ain't fucking unique. All you're doing is going to whatever news item that you see of the day and be like, huh, look at all these sheeple. They can't see what's actually going on. I'm going to assume that the opposite of what was officially announced actually happened. And it's all part of a broader conspiracy, right? It's just like, come on, man. I'm so fucking tired of this shit. At least when I was growing up in the 90s, when you were a conspiracy theorist, you actually like acted on it. Like if you were like a true alien conspiracy theorist, for example, and you thought that the government was hiding the truth, like people in the 90s, they would go to the fucking desert and get in a trailer and like monitor radio waves to see if they could like find the aliens before the government could access them or whatever. The conspiracy theorists nowadays, today in modern day, they're just like, oh, let me think I'm super smart by assuming that this is all a government conspiracy without doing anything. It's like, if you think it's a government conspiracy, why aren't you actually like fighting the conspiracy? You just want to pretend that you're smart and you know something about the world that other people don't. It's really annoying. No one cares where Amelia Earhart is. They just want confirmation she was a lesbian. Do we even need confirmation? I think it's just safe to assume that if a woman is driven and she wants to go and do masculine things, she's probably a lesbian. I remember in my Sociology 101 course, one of the grad students that spoke as a guest for what they do as a sociologist was writing their dissertation about how the WNBA, a large part of its revenue is propped up by lesbians, but they didn't want to show how heavily lesbian coded the entire fan base was. So they would, if they had like two women sitting together on the jumbotron during a game, they wouldn't like focus on them for too long and shit. And I was just like, LMAO. Who do you think they're fooling? The sheeple are all wrong. The real culprit is Tamamonomaya after her stone split open. I'm pretty sure a lot of bad shit was happening before the Tamamonomaya stone split open, so I don't think the timeline adds up. They were just very good friends. They were roommates, guys. Just roommates. Roommates with benefits of sharing the same rent. Oh! She had short hair, a tuxedo, and kept walking off with my wife. Truly nothing to see here. I hate how we've allowed butches to hijack our short-haired female discourse. Short hair is not for you. I was going down a 90s or more like mid 80s Japanese commercial binge last night drawing. And it got me thinking. First, I'd like you to watch this commercial. She cut her hair, chat. Karina, 91. Okay. Now look at this commercial. I think this is the best commercial of all time. I discovered it last night. And I watched it like 3 times in a row trying to figure out what was so great. Now, I'd like to analyze this commercial because it truly is one of the great masterpieces of media. Look at that. Look at the number of short-haired females we had there. Are the women included with the Coke? Of course it is. Everything you see in this commercial will be yours as long as you drink Coca-Cola. As long as you hold the brand of the Coca-Cola soft drink visible to the camera at all times as you roller skate. The head tilting up and multiple water references. Okay, so I came back to this mainly because of the short hair comment. But I was thinking, it got me thinking, like, when was the most aesthetically superior time period in history? And I was starting to think, maybe it's like bubble era Japan. Hear me out here, chat. Bubble era Japan. Japan always produced the best stuff when they were in competition with the West and they were trying to imitate the West. But not just imitate it, but like produce something better than the West. And they would usually produce something better than America. 1980s Japan was an extremely specific time period in which the Japanese were still like super into wishing they could be like white America, but then also like feeling ambitious enough to feel like they could actually outdo America. I've said that one of my favorite versions of like aesthetics is like Western fantasy, early D&D, first edition reinterpreted by Japanese people who are like playing wizardry and stuff. And I think the same principles applies to like aesthetics in general. Japan, when it felt like it really, really wanted to be like America and stuff, but then it actually felt like it could improve on America, generated like the most aesthetic, high quality shit. Thing Japan reigns supreme, and the 80s was like the maximum level of Thing Japan. Like, I went down the rabbit hole, and basically, like, half of these commercials in the 80s were Thing America, but then Japan was like, but what if we did the Thing Japan? Like, this was when they were allowed to have cigarette commercials, for example. This is for 1983 through 1993 Parliament. God, it's taking forever to load. This is because Google knows that I have ad blocker on. Parliament 1983 through 1993. Tabako no American. American Blue. This is Japan being like, you feel that sense of ennui. Parliament. Western Poison? It's not Western Poison. That's the thing. It's Japanese Poison. Sony in Times Square. Now that's some 80s shit right there. Twin Towers. It's Sony or Japanese tobacco company branded Japanese tobacco being marketed as an American New York thing by giving it a name like Parliament. They do have Marlboro and stuff as well. Let's see. There was a. So this is peak Asahi Super Dry. Notice how there's always like Japanese people. So this is the most intense version of the Asahi Super Dry ones. Helicopter flying through New York. He's actually the one who's piloting the helicopter with another white guy as they pour each other their beers in a symbol of like manly bonding that will never be broken. As he does a $10 billion deal in this Wall Street-like, but not actually specifically Wall Street environment. See, this is like the Japanese vision of masculinity in 1983, is Japan still feeling inferior toward this vaguely defined concept of white America, and yet they also feel like now Japan is powerful enough to go overseas and do like big ass deals as they drink their Asahi Super Dry. It just it makes you think. There's like an entire fucking series of the Feel the Coke. It just goes on and on. Like, there's the version of the 1988 Coke ad. This is the same one that we just saw, but notice how they always have, like, these office environments with these, like, super sharply dressed Japanese businessmen with, like, the fucking rimmed glasses and shit as they're doing, like, high leverage deals. See ya, man. But they also have, like, the, like, baseball, co-ed baseball version. There we go, another short-haired female right there. Co-ed dancing with your short-haired tomboy female. Those are the kind of men who will spit in your mouth if you ask. Only if you ask them to spit you a refreshing stream of Coca-Cola that they just drank out of a glass bottle. I want what they have? Yes. Why didn't we let it go, chat? If only we had properly drank the 1980s Coca-Cola, we could have had that forever. Any short hair idols that are memorable to you? Not really. I just remember like going to Japan in the 90s, and even at that time, if you would go, I guess it wasn't because of that time, but like local bar, nomiya, that you're eating yakitori in isn't going to take down their Asahi Super Dry swimsuit female poster, but like a ton of the women then still had short hair. Biru 80年代グラビアポスター。Like, you would go to the average bar, and they would always have, like, a poster like this of, like, 80s female. It was impossible for men to drink their Kirin Raga Nama without getting this type of hairstyle and this type of bikini. And when you think about how, like, I didn't have any access to porn at the time, and it was like, holy shit, sex. That's a thing. 6-year-old me. Sapporo. Delicious. This leads men astray to drinking delicious Japanese brand beers, if that's what you mean. They had the 2-hit combo attack of smoking and drinking. Yeah. It was a time when people still believed in their vices. And society was still about promoting the worst health things that you could do, instead of now, in which society is all about promoting the worst mental health things you do. We went from promoting stuff that caused like physical cancer in beer and cigarettes, and instead now we're promoting mental cancer in gambling markets and AI usage. I think I kind of prefer the old version. At least in the old version, we got hot women peddling the beer. Mental cancer with Skibbity Rees? Yeah. Also, we had cool cars back then. I think what's the most important ingredient of all of this is that because people had less back then, everybody will say this in the comments, we always had less back then, but everybody was like happy and smiling all the time. It's because everybody had less back then. It felt like that we were on the upward trend. It's more important that like if 1985 is here and we're still here in like 2026, the fact that it feels like shit is getting better, this feeling right here makes you feel better than this feeling here, even if, I mean, I guess happiness is the wrong, this here is the happiness. We'll just put it as like luxury. Even if there's this amount of difference in the luxury feeling, the feeling that like you can still go upward, and it peaks probably like 99 maybe. Nothing stays or continues up though. True. But the problem is that the downward trend is being driven by incredibly shitty, stupid fucking forces in society that we can see it happening in front of our eyes, and everyone is like, God damn it, you stupid fucking AI companies, stop wasting all of our money on something that doesn't work. This is stupid. And then the elites are like, no, you'll be happier when we all fire you from your jobs. Trust us. And everyone's like, no, we won't. Fucking stop it right now. Shit started going down in the late 2000s. September 11th really was kind of the seminal event for like, stuff isn't going to be as much fun going forward. I guess. I don't know, the videos of cats working at McDonald's is pretty keno. So here's the thing, man. If this was the 80s, like McDonald's would be making those videos themselves instead of having their fucking brain dead user base, the online Twitter user base, to produce those videos for them. Not only would the cats be working at McDonald's in the 80s, like, they would be super positive and happy. we reached bottom with double whammy of peak woke and peak wealth consolidation in 2020? Maybe. There's always a bigger bottom, possibly. We definitely entered a new zone of, like, the shittiness, that's for sure. I mean, we were also trapped indoors with COVID at the time, so... This leg that I want to do maximum foreshortening with is giving me trouble. Rich got richer than ever, and center gave shitheads their vote to move away from far left. Well, the problem is that America having only two political parties is a huge problem. We've already known that, but one of the huge problems was there isn't a way to separate cultural leftism with economic leftism, and the same for the right as well. So Bernie Bros, for example, who want economic leftism, have to compete with the dividing forces within the Democratic Party, and then also centrist and stuff like that. All the Bernie Bros who claimed that Bernie was, like, on track to win the nomination from Hillary, or actually it's not true, even if they hadn't quote-unquote stolen it from him. I think you are vastly overestimating the amount of electoral votes he had at the time, but I see why you're angry, though. The most milquetoast person will tell you fiscally conservative, socially liberal. I don't even know, man. I don't even know if people understand what they're talking about in America about politics at this point. I worry Dems will actually put AOC as a presidential candidate. You get to choose between AOC, Kanye, what's his name? ESPN commentator. I'm blanking his name. Ain't no way Dems will put a woman next round. I just want a standard white guy, guys. We deserve to have more white guys in office. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith, thank you. Someone not Reddit. Good luck on that. I think the problem here is that I'm not foreshortening the proportions of the top portion of the body to the bottom portion of the body enough for this angle. Don't draw details, guys. You don't need to draw details. You need to work in shapes and feeling. I'd vote for Hatsune Miku to be president. That's another thing that used to be way better. Our not our reliance, our belief in technology as a emotionally supportive source of happiness in which technology was our friend instead of our current version where AI is our enemy, except for the very small amount of mentally ill tech bros who are now rely on AI to be their like husband and wife and shit like that. But for everybody else, they're like, fuck this. Nobody felt that way about Hatsune Miku, and nobody feels that way about Hatsune Miku. Even if Hatsune Miku became an all-powerful AI, we know that she isn't going to come and destroy us because she's a good girl. Something that cannot be said for any of the AI chatbots, right? It's a pretty depressing situation that we can't even trust our robots anymore. She just wants us to bring us joy and laughter and green striped panties. Miku doesn't care about stealing jobs, only hearts. You know, Miku is, the Miku Miku song is, it's literally like her speaking to you directly, being like, I'm gonna try my best to be a good Vocaloid. This video here is particularly, I remember it a lot, the Miku Miku, because they took all the artwork of different people on Nico Nico. Oh, not this one. Where is it? This one, I think. Yeah. They have all of the, Gumiku ni shite ageru. You know, back before we had AI, where they literally had every single artist on Nico Nico draw a separate Miku. That's a lot of work, but you could do that in the year 2000. I mean, look at the lyrics. She's like, I'm your friend. I'm alive. People are legitimately excited for having their robot idol. Back when 2chan still existed. take me back. At least Miku's still here. It's all we can do. It was still a time of hope. It was a hope for technology. I mean, it's like, peak Miku is like, what, 2010 or so? Gen AI really ruined funny Photoshop edits and shit like this. I mean, Gen AI is like the end point of you not being able to enjoy seeing an image on the internet, but we were kind of getting there before that. It's especially poignant in like wartime situations like this where people are like posting images from Arma and War Thunder and people don't know whether it's real or not, because if you see a grainy footage of a airplane flying around missiles in Arma, the average person doesn't really know whether it's a video game or not, because they don't know what dogfighting actually looks like. And then you combine that with like AI for everything. Like in 2026, the first instinct you have to have whenever you see anything is this real? Whether it's something depicting an anime girl and you want to know whether it's AI generated slop that was stolen from another artist, or whether it's fake footage of something that's supposed to be real. So the only thing that you can actually enjoy is shit that like is clearly not real, like the cat showing up and like playing trombone in someone's find footage cam in their bedroom in the middle of the night and stuff like that. Only the most retarded people are like, is the cat playing a trombone while it's riding a unicycle? No, it's not. So we are officially in the age of illusion. Yeah. There's great value in me streaming myself drawing just to show people that I am actually an authentic human being. People don't like getting fucking scammed. Even if the end result image is the same image, nobody wants to feel like somebody who put in no effort just shat something out and then you put in the emotional effort to think that it meant something. That just is a relationship in which it feels like the person who's consuming the image is getting scammed. Nobody wants to be like a sucker, and that's what you end up being if you like something that was produced based on fake technology. Draw Hatsune Miku toes now. Hasanabi, the Twitch streamer, was watching Arma footage mistaken as Ukraine battle footage. At this point, unless you actually know how like war works in real life, it's pretty easy to fucking get fooled if you're not like fully aware of what it looks like. Considering we have all these, handy dandy GoPro cams of actual Ukraine battle footage. If you're not paying attention, I got excited for AI art for a while, but it just ended up feeling lackluster. If people were going to produce great shit with AI art at some point, then they would have already done it. Technologically wise, it's more than good enough at this point to produce not just sufficient but high quality images and stuff. So if there was like some great creator living in the that was being blocked by their inability to draw or something, then they would already be producing shit. The tools are already there. They've been there even before AI art, but any kind of delusion that AI art was going to enable a new generation of artists who had been gatekept by their technical skill as is clearly not the case at this point. It's pretty obvious. Just like crypto, it's a tool for scammers. If you couldn't be bothered to, you know, have a real currency, then crypto wasn't gonna like make anything better. And it's the same for artwork. If you couldn't be bothered to draw in the first place or try and... There was so many ways to produce shit even before AI. Whether it was like, if you wanted to do porn, you could just like do various forms of Blender or what do you call it, the illusion game stuff. This is dramatic and muscular, this pose. It is kind of what I was looking for, but now it's not sexy. It's not what I was looking for. How do I capture the inherent feminine energy of the Alex body type? If anything, it gives more value to actual artists. It certainly hasn't resulted in a decrease in commissions. I haven't heard any like internet artists be like, no, I don't have any more business because of AI. Everyone's going to AI instead. The commissioners, if they were willing to pay artists before, AI definitely isn't a replacement for that. Because it's not something that provides anything that's necessary in the first place. So where there's going to be a lot of, and there already is a lot of people getting fired, is stuff like advertising industries and stuff like that, because that shit was quote-unquote art in name only. It was just producing like some kind of image to get people to look at the thing and buy the item, and then there wasn't any like direct connection between the customer valuing the image and then the customer buying stuff. There was like so many steps in the supply chain. It has to go, for the money to go to get to the person who's drawing the image, it first has to go from the customer deciding to buy something, and then it has to go to the company producing something, and then the company producing something has to be hiring an advertising agency who then commissions the artist to do the commercial artwork. So yeah, of course, at any point of that chain, the people can be like, we'd rather just do it with AI. In the first place, what they're producing is something that nobody actually wants to see in the first place. Everyone's trying to not have ads with ad blockers, so it's an inherently worthless piece of artistry or imagery. The big Twitter's artist account saying Gen AI is hurting their comms. I mean, they're still around begging, aren't they? AI affected only deviant art Sonic OC market. Has it affected the Sonic OC market? Have you thought about using Rhea Ripley as reference for this? It's not really the physical body type that I'm having problems with, though. It's like the pose. What's the best pose? Even in ads, it's honestly backfiring. The thing is, you never know if ads ever actually have any kind of effect on people's purchasing behavior, so they're inherently just a worthless thing. Ads are all about the advertising agency convincing the company that's producing the thing that the ads are having an effect. There are too broke to use real art is actually becoming the normie sentiment. When is the financial collapse going to start, guys? I'm tired of waiting because it's the most obvious bubble we've ever had in history. The only reason the market hasn't fucking exploded yet is because all the venture capitalist investors are still in denial mode. And that's the big question. When will they stop being in denial? Because it's going to have to happen at some point. No, they don't have enough money to prop up these companies forever. And there's literally zero profits happening in any single one of them. So inflation is being artificially suppressed. Hopefully, if with more inflation, if we get inflation, we can get higher interest rates. Because I have a lot of savings in cash. I doubt it can be suppressed, but you're wrong, though. These rich retards will keep pumping money into it. They've already been pumping money into it for a very long time. Even the rich retards don't have infinite supply of money. The only people that have infinite supply of money is the federal government, which shockingly why the AI companies desperately want the U.S. government to prop them up when they inevitably collapse. And Sam Altman has already tried to get that to happen. The government might just do it. The difference between propping up the banks and the car companies and stuff in 2008 and propping them up in 2026 is that the AI companies don't have any kind of like revenue plan. They've never made any kind of profit. So throwing them a lifeline doesn't actually, it just extends the situation in which they continue to burn money. Let's do the thing. Hold on, guys. Watch me as I do the thing. 1. 2. 3. 4. 'Can we keep AI away from guns, please God? Surely nothing will happen if I have a smart gun controlled by AI. Doesn't Elon's AI have a defense contract? The whole defense contract and Anthropic and ChatGPT being like, no, we won't let the US government use our large language model use its incredible powers is fucking just a promotional material thing. Because they can't use it because it's not actually good enough to be used for anything. Didn't they use ChatGPT to pick targets some time ago? Okay, I take that back. I was saying it can't be used, but the US military is dumb enough to try and use it and then, like, fuck shit up horribly, so I guess it is possible that they would use it. I always never underestimate the stupidity of humans, and especially never underestimate the stupidity of military intelligence, a famous oxymoron. So yeah, of course they could use large language models to pick targets or do some stupid shit. Jarvis, engage safety mechanism. Your subscription has run out. Please pay immediately. Don't give them any extra ideas, I should say, but it's already too late. We've already had the BMW be like, oh, you already bought the car? Too bad, you have to pay us a subscription for the seat heating technology, so... It's easier to forget that older people almost live in their own separate world. Yes. That is true. It's going to be interesting when all the boomers die off. I've said this multiple times, but a lot of things that we take for granted as being like eternal institutions of humanity might just disappear, like Fox News, for example. Fox News is like, it has by far the highest ratings on TV, but it's all just like boomers having their TV turned on 24/7 to Fox News without ever changing the channel. And once they die, there isn't anybody to take their place. Like the younger rightists, they're not watching Fox News. They're going on to whatever, like, podcast or some shit. There's just a lot of shit that's being propped up by boomers being incredibly brain dead in their activities. It's so stupid in the last 15 years that we do not hire or fire people based on whatever they're doing, but based on what's new trend that makes stock value go up. Why stop at hiring, firing? How about like the entire business model of every single company in America is just instead of, revenue and profits is all centered on stock value, whether it's stock buybacks, short-term stock value, whatever. Like just the whole concept that used to be behind making money, i.e. capitalism, in which you make product and you sell it for profit, is just like, nah. Everything is gambling and just stock market manipulation now. Gen X is also a menace, though. Yeah, but they have much lower population. What we actually need to be worried about is the goddamn millennials, i.e. my generation. We're the most numerous once the boomers are dead. And I'm not optimistic enough to believe that the millennials will be any better stewards of the planet than the boomers were. My father is vehemently against it. Modern workforce versus AI as modern mirror of the Luddite movements of the Industrial Revolution. The thing is with the Industrial Revolution, though, is people are like, oh, cool, I can get more clothing thanks to these automated looms. I don't really care that much about the, sewing workers being displaced by this technology because the price benefit is better for me. Whereas AI, everybody that's supposed to be the potential customer is like, please fucking stop. It's like the first time in my life in which there was a product in which the customers were clearly saying that they didn't want the thing, and then there was so much money being pumped into it that didn't cause the thing to be stopped. Because the people making the thing were like, no, if we just keep on pumping money into it, this will become AGI, and then we'll have the profit. It really is that the comic where it's like, step one, do this, step two, do this, question mark, profit. Except the question mark is like somehow the large language model is going to become AGI. I'm not even exaggerating. Industry insiders in the tech bro space have been like, yes, that's actually the business model for every single one of them. And all of these companies believe that AGI will happen. They just need to keep on going. And if it doesn't happen, they're fucked. And they know this. I cannot wait to live in the Anthropic slave camp. Don't you know? Anthropic is the good one of these AIs. They resisted Pentagon control. They would never put you in a slave camp. They said that they were the people that, unlike ChatGPT, they're not like OpenAI, who have sold their soul. They're a splinter group specifically that cares about morality and stuff. They said so. It's funny because all of Anthropic's like claims about being morally upstanding is also just them trying to hype their product. They're like, oh man, AI is going to be so powerful. It's going to be so powerful, guys. It's going to take all of our jobs, and it could possibly cause 1 trillion nuclear wars. And if Anthropic isn't here to protect you guys by putting restrictions on AI progress, we might all die. And it's like, bro, so far all we've seen is that AI is a piece of shit, and it doesn't work, and it can't even, like, do basic-ass stuff. I'm not falling for your stupid hype trying to convince me that AI is just unimaginably powerful. I've watched Claude plays Pokemon. If those of you who don't know, they've been trying to get Claude to play Pokemon Gen 1 for the last, like, 12 months, I think. I don't know. And he keeps on getting stuck. It's a very informative situation to just show you how incredibly retarded AI can actually be. I think I just need to change my canvas shape. Square is just a weird limiting shape. It's somewhat unusual for a business model investment incentive to be built on existential fear, LOL. It's not even like existential fear. It would be like if the Manhattan Project people were like, we're going to create a bomb that can destroy the entire planet. Except that they were very, very far away from ever creating the bomb. And they kept on telling us that the hydrogen bomb was just around the corner. And everyone was like, bro, the bomb you created is like about half as powerful as all the bombs we had before. They're like, no, trust us. This will end society as we know it. You should be very afraid. Like, they don't have anything that suggests that AI is capable of being that powerful. Didn't Twitch chat beat Pokemon in less time? Yeah, they beat it in like maybe a month or two, I think. They've had to reset Claude many, many times because he literally can't get by the Safari Zone. So this is a living example that Twitch chat, i.e. 10,000 retarded monkeys with typewriters, is a better form of getting something done than AI. Are you wanting a looming effect for the piece or a broadening one? I haven't really figured it out yet. I'm just trying to find the two-dimensional silhouette shapes that best express the inherent sexuality of female Alex. Didn't fish beat Pokemon? I don't think fish are capable of doing anything. Fish are retarded. There's a lot of animals that people are like, no. That animal is extremely intelligent and eating it should be a crime, but nobody says that about fish. Especially stuff like sardines. If you ever go to an aquarium that has like sardines, which isn't very common because people don't give a fuck about sardines, and see them all swimming in a circle with their mouths opening and closing, you're like, these creatures were put on this planet by God to be a food source of like seals and humans and stuff. They have not a single fucking brain cell operating in their empty, soulless eyes. I have yet to hear any animal rights activist be like, no. Think about the feelings of the fish. of those 10 trillion sardines getting swallowed by fucking whales and shit. The fish did beat Pokemon. The inputs were mapped to a fish tank and it beat it at random. Jesus Christ. So currently Claude AI is literally worse than random. I think whales eat krill. Different whales eat different things. The sexy monster musume whale eats my semen. That's why we call her a sperm whale. Because she just guzzles cum nonstop. There might be some nature biologists in chat that disagree with my interpretation of what a sperm whale is, but I have to be a specialist on this topic. I'm starting to lose hope in Forsen. What has Forsen done recently? I know nothing about Forsen. And I never will know anything about Forsen. Big, beautiful whale. The whale is massive. It's the old stock trader versus index fund wisdom. I mean, index funds aren't really random. They're just like a broad snapshot of the stock environment. If it was truly random, it would be like a RNG-based choosing of like random companies on Wall Street, but index funds they're specifically chosen that you get like a broad spectrum of the stock environment so that it kind of evens out. If you wanted to go the true RNG, it would just be like you get to choose like one company that's just picked at random, which would probably still be better than the average stock trader because those guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. Now that's a fucking scam job, right? These are like the smartest people and they go to Harvard and MIT and shit, and what do? They work like 15 hours a day snorting coke, and their primary job is trying to convince clients that they actually know what's going to happen in the future. And they're almost always wrong, but they still make money on commissions. They're literally no different than from like being a soothsayer. So much of the most intelligent people in modern times are just their job is just like gambling poorly with other people's money has become like the #1 industry in America. No wonder everything fucking sucks. It would be shocking if things didn't suck, considering that's our primary industry right now. It's actually surprising that stuff isn't even worse. If you're like, yeah, we've just turned our entire fucking economy into a stupid casino and everybody sucks at it. No improvement in Minecraft speedrunning after like a month of straight playing, using strats from 3-4 years ago, too lazy to learn. Does it even matter though? Isn't his job to entertain his viewers, not actually to be good at Minecraft? If he's doing like unseeded runs, ultimately isn't it just RNG? I know like there's a lot of like skill involved after you get used to it, but people just waiting for like the god run. Who's the house though? The house is the banks that are allowing for the stock trading and shit to happen, because they're not actually gambling with their own money necessarily. They're usually, the people who lose are the people who are hoping that the stock traders know what they're doing. Speedrunning a randomly generated game is stupid. I mean, so is gambling. Speedrunning Minecraft is the same as all our other RNG-based pastimes, including gambling with other people's money that I'm complaining about. At this point, he hasn't killed a dragon in years, so even if he gets that far, he'll probably choke it. I mean, what is the best game to speedrun? Honestly, if I was doing speedrunning content, I'd just be like a speedrun game of the du jour, of the moment, the most popular one. So I'd be speedrunning RE9 right now, for example. I think people are more interested in seeing like the early stages of the strats than you autistically run the same game forever. But of course, there's a lot of people who have the autistically run the same game ever channels that are still pretty popular. So I guess that's not necessarily true, but personally, I'm interested in like the development of the strats. And then when it just comes down to execution, and especially if it's an RNG-based game and you're just waiting for like the right combination of numbers to fall into your lap, like I'm no longer that interested. You're doing the crazy Fumio 3936 crazy muscular waist to hips ratio. I mean, that's the kind of character Alex is, so... Best speed games are skill-based games with cool tech. I think the best games are the ones with big titties. Speedrun Sengoku Dansu. The game I'm playing right now actually is Rogue Legacy 2. I'm a big Rogue Legacy fan. I really enjoyed the first one, and I was planning to play the second one, but I was like, now is not the time, and I had been ignoring it for like 2 years or so. But now that I am away from my PS5, now is the right time, because that's a good game to be played on my gaming laptop. Is Rogue Legacy 2 good? It is by my standards. It's just the right amount of difficulty for me. It might be too hard for some people and too easy for others. I think if you're really good at action games, it's super easy. because there's a lot of cheesiness to be used. So if you're like, if you have really good, you know, platforming and like 2D combat skills, you're probably going to be pretty easy. But for me, I'm not great at video games, so the progression feels just right. I'm curious about Crimson Desert. People are going to be disappointed calling it now. Isn't it by Korean game company? If you all haven't played Mugenics yet, you should. It's incredible. I'm getting tired of everybody pumping Mugenics in this chat. I don't want to play Mugenics, and I will not play it. Everyone being like Mugenics, Mugenics, Mugenics. Don't care. Not playing Mugenics. I'll play it when it's extremely cheap on sale, which I'm sure it will be at some point. You give off Mugenics vibes. I don't play games if I don't like the art style. For me, the art style, the overall art design package is way more important than anything else, including gameplay. I'll play games where I don't even like the gameplay because I like the art style and like the atmosphere and stuff. And I don't like the art style of Mugenics, so I don't fucking care. I didn't like the art style of Isaac, and I don't like the art style of Mugenics. BB is right. I'm tired of... I say this as I play Rogue Legacy, which is very much in the same category. But I'm tired of, like, every indie being, like, quirky. Not just indie video games. Everything in general. We have too much stuff. And I say this as someone who has made a living off of this shit. But we have too much stuff where people are just trying to throw curveballs. Right? When's the last time you played anything or watched anything that's just like 100% sincere? The last thing I saw something sincere was that 1980s Coke commercial I just played on stream. Whereas, like, Coke is great. It makes you feel great. It makes you attractive. Everybody drinks Coke while they're having a good time. God, I fucking love Coca-Cola. Nothing like that is like that anymore because people want to be like funny and like they want to throw a curveball because they're too afraid of when you're 100% sincere and you fail doing that. It looks way worse than if you're just like trying to be funny or do something subversive or some shit like that. Don't you like Earthbound? I never liked Earthbound. I don't have my own cat. That's my mother's cat. Mugenics, I wouldn't say isn't sincere. Mugenics, they have weird people saying meow instead of like actual meows. And when I heard that, I was like, nah, fuck this. They're being quirky. Did you ever play Undertale? No, I did not play Undertale. That is another game I'm not really interested in playing. What were they supposed to do though? Kill like 200 cats to get their death cries? Make simulated cat noises using vacuum cleaners like they did with Chewbacca. BB beat Stellar Bay? No. It was too expensive. I don't play games that are at full price anymore as well, so... Also, I don't like the body type of Eve. She's too, Korean plastic surgery pilled. If we're talking about Korean plastic surgery pilled games that came out at the same time, I played the first Descendant because it was free to play. But I wasn't going to spend like $70 at release for Stellar Blade. Also, it's a parry game. I'm getting sick of parry games as well. Stellar Blade is still inferior in every way. I haven't played Nier either. I played the demo and I didn't like the gameplay. If 2B was a hairy man with a mustache and gay bondage attire, you wouldn't play it. But because it's a cute android, everyone's like, ooh, I will now buy your game. I don't like parrying, but it can take up an inordinate amount of the focus. I don't like it when parrying is clearly like the right option in most defensive setups, where like the risk reward for parrying instead of going for something else like blocking or dodging or something always benefits the if parrying is just a way better option than everything else. New Pokemon trailers drop. Looks like Game Freak finally learned that textures are a thing. Holy shit, we've done it, guys. We're now living in the year of 2003 instead of like 1998. Pokemon Wind and Wave. When are we going to get Pokemon Cock and Balls? Not actual gameplay footage. Yes, I know, Game Freak. I won't play any Pokemon game unless Pikachu is the original fat Pikachu. Which will be never. They literally only exist for Coomer-bait designs of the same gameplay mechanics for normies. Is it even normies at this point? I consider it to be like mentally arrested, mentally ill adults. Which we have a lot of. And then some normies as well. That looks fucking disgusting, honestly. Anything after Gen 2 can get banned. Is that when they killed the original Pokemon designer? Because I was basically out on Pokemon when the Pokemon designs became like kind of shiny. As a kid, I liked the grimy, edgy, realistic textures of the Pokemon bodies. I thought that looked awesome in the 1993 or whatever when I played the first generation. It's the same designer, he just changed his style to be bad? Well, I'm out. Dandy9098, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. Also, they made the main character, female, girl, children, less sexy. Because Nintendo realized that people were looting their females too hard. These starters suck? Yes. The adults are hot, though. People are already drawing porn of Blue Lizard starter. They can't stop the furries from being mentally deranged, but they are making sure that the female MC is wearing, like, full shorts and stockings and stuff like that, and, like, full skin wear. See? I don't know if that's the male or the female, but they're in, like, some sort of tropical environment. And they're wearing full shorts, t-shirt, and then long-sleeved inner, like, heat tech shit, which would be incredibly hot and uncomfortable in, like, fucking Hawaii or whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. And they're making sure she's flat as hell. Pokemon, how am I supposed to enjoy your content if I can't sexualize a literal child? Oh, wait. I don't have to sexualize a literal child. All the artists will draw them as aged up with massive tits and ass, and there'll be 10 trillion AI images of her anyway, so it doesn't matter. MCs have customizable clothing now, I think, which is the reason. Uh-huh. The bodysuit is the new meta. Look at Chinese gacha games. I will continue to peddle sexuality. Nobody can stop me. The children must learn of the concept of sex by seeing Mai's asshole and her bouncing titties in the arcade SNK game. Hype Train? Wait, was there more than one sub right now? Did we just get a Hype Train from one sub? What the fuck is this? How is that even possible? Alternate realities. What's the alternate realities? What's that excuse? What's the excuse for? There's Spider-Versing something? God, there's so many muscles in the armpit area. It's very hard to draw it. If sex is everywhere, then people won't pay as much to see it. Sex is everywhere, haven't you noticed? Who was your Gen 1 starter? I don't know the English names. Is it Venusaur in English? It's Fushigi Dane in Japanese. Mysterious Seed. The frog. Are you Japanese or American? I'm half. I have dual citizenship, and I'm racially half as well. I'm like your anime girls who are like, I'm 1/16 Norwegian, which is why I have platinum blonde hair and pale blue eyes. The Takamaki Ann stereotype. He's the worst aspects of both internal and the best of both externally. I don't know about that. I do have the long European legs and relatively high height of my father and the straight Japanese hair of my mother. And as a result, I'm an autistic loser because they waited until they were 40 to have kids. The Norwegian genes were too strong. The genes that we find most appealing are also the most recessive. I have short-ass legs. I didn't think I had long-ass legs until I was in Japanese high school, and I was just like slouching in my chair, stretching my legs out. And one of the girls just straight up was like, God damn, your legs are long. And I'm like, huh? I was like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, huh, I guess they are long compared to everybody else in this country. I didn't notice that. I didn't really think about it in those terms. The super long legs aren't even like a European thing. If you want to go for like giga long legs, it's like the East African runner types have the longest like skeleton ass legs. She was looking at your calves, you slut. I can't help it if I'm sexy. They're just part of being me. He's the worst aspects. Yeah. She even admitted it in writing. Everyone gets a leg mogged by East Africans. There's a reason why they win all their marathons and stuff. It's because they have like super long legs and like small bodies, so they're just like running hyper fast. Also, they use a shit ton of performance enhancing drugs. There's also that as well. It's Alex, that's all you need to know. This is canonically accurate to the Street Fighter 3 universe. Look at this. This is straight up what Alex's waist looked like. Extremely broad shoulders and back. Tiny little itty bitty waist. Tight fat ass. Look at that. They went overboard. That image is straight, just a woman's ass, lol. I have some bad news for you. The only difference between a female ass and a male ass is the amount of muscle. I guess you could say that women are going to have a wider ass because they have a wider pelvic bone, but the main difference is just muscle. So if women starve themselves and use a shit ton of steroids and they create rock hard ass, it becomes a male ass. Feminine roid rage sounds diabolical. Females are already needlessly angry because of their hormones even before they start using roids. So I can only imagine how incredibly annoying they'd be around if they were on performance enhancing drugs. It'd probably be pretty bad. Women were never meant to be muscular freaks of nature. They should just leave that to the John Cenas of the world. They should be good breeding cows, just like my hentai. Optimal female position is wearing cow print bikini and being attached to the lactating machine in the hentai milking farm to provide men with delicious breast milk. Natty muscular women are hotter. Are you saying you don't like looking at non-natty bodybuilder women who basically look like dried up husks? I mean, everybody is hotter when they're not on performance enhancing drugs. The only people who think that like the giga bodybuilders are attractive are they themselves. Also, they can't have sex even if they want to because their testicles have shrunk completely. Okay, Immortan Joe. Japanese hentai invented breeding factories way before Mad Max, guys. That's not some sort of Mel Gibson post-apocalyptic invention. Why is Rhea Ripley mommy? She's using the right amount of steroids. And you go off of them, and you regain your ability to reproduce if you just off them for a while. I've seen interviews with like the steroid users, and they're just like, yeah, my testicles shrink, but when I want to have kids, I just go off the cycle, and that solves it. I'm like, wow, I guess it is that simple. Milking machines seem fun until you realize the amount of sterilization those fucking things require. Just like hentai doesn't worry about STDs, they also don't have to worry about, like, bacterial infections in the female milk cow milking machine. No one's like, wait, we have to pasteurize the breast milk before we ship it out. The female slut cow breeding factory must be kept to optimal hygiene standards, or else we'll have deadly bacterial infections that will kill our clientele. Nobody worries about that shit. Pus in my breast milk? No! Also, I don't think breast milk actually tastes good. I haven't actually had it since I was a child, I believe, so... But I've heard that people who, like, when you're a grown adult and you drink, like, that actual, like, lukewarm body temperature breast milk coming out of, like, the big titty female's big tit, it's actually probably a pretty disgusting experience, I've been told. I'm not sure. Why does the male body have to be so unattractive? Why must women only look attractive? That's a, historically, it is the incorrect opinion. We've had 10,000 years of history in which Renaissance artists are like, the female body is disgusting. AI overview. Renaissance artists, notably Michelangelo, frequently prioritized the male body as the apex of beauty, viewing it as a symbol of divine perfection, power, and classical harmony, often based on Neoplatonic philosophy where physical beauty reflects spiritual virtue. The male form was considered the ideal model for anatomy, sometimes viewed as a perfected version of the human body. Not females. Male body is often used to represent virtue, civic strength, and rationality, unlike females, women. In some cases, as with Michelangelo, the intense focus on masculinity was used to impart power to the figures, even in depictions of female figures. Yes, the intense focus on masculinity, i.e. he was insanely fucking gay, and he liked sucking cock all day long. No shit. The availability of male apprentices, i.e. time to suck cock, more accessible to artists than the female body, which was restricted by moral propriety, leading some to adopt the male form to create female figures. Sistine Chapel female figures. This one is particularly memorable. Prophets and Sibyls. Look at that fucking back, bros. Michelangelo would literally just draw a male and then be like, I'll slap some tits on. That's good enough. There, here's a woman. You want a woman? Here's a fucking woman, you stupid commissioners. Now I have to go back to drawing buff men. They had great appreciation for the natural beauty and superiority of the micropene. The penis must be small and round in a small package with the balls. I want to believe they used to make women like then when every day was a struggle. To be fair, back then, doing household chores meant you had to, like, lug 100 pounds of water out of the well every day. So a lot of women were probably like that. You couldn't be a average stick female like you see in Japan back then. You had to actually do like real physical labor, even if you're just working at home. I do scream for food and get the zoomies at 4 a.m. Yeah, the water bottle has to come out. Women really are remarkably feline, but cats are cute, so it checks out. Are they? I'm not sure. I think we're underestimating cats, or possibly overestimating women. Women wish they were cute as cats, I think is the moral here. They're not actually as cute as cats. That's what they're aiming to be. I don't want to be cute, I want to be evil. Well, that's a very cat-like opinion to have. Women are cuter in my opinion. We have all these stray cats or outdoor cats in this area. There's like 6 or 7 of them at the park I jog in by the ocean, and they're all very like well fed because without doubt, like every day, uh, people show up. There's like they have like a whole system in which specific people show up at certain timings to make sure that they get fed. Now, the only way that women would get that deal is if they offered sex. But the cats get it just by being cats. So I think that shows that the cats are cuter and more valuable than females. $67, he said the thing. Hystrixia ban constrictor. Time him out now. He's being a zoomie. Cats cannot cook or bake. True. The cat will not make your life any better besides by being cute. Sometimes they might murder, Yes, thank you. The chat is already immediately better now that Constrictor's speaking privileges have been taken away. Cats also don't do laundry. Doing laundry is like extremely overrated. I just like to point this out among the various household chores. Now that we have washing machines, it used to be like a serious big deal to do the laundry. Had to go and like boil your shirts and like go down to the river and scrub it with like a hard rock or something. But now it's literally just putting your laundry in the machine and it comes out clean an hour later and then you hang it up. And then women are like, oh, it's so hard to do the laundry. And men are like, oh, I can't possibly do my laundry. It's like, bitch, you have a machine to do everything for you. We're literally in the sci-fi movie in which you press the button and the food comes out, except for the laundry version of that. We don't have like the food version of that yet, but we definitely have the laundry version of that. And people are like, oh, it's so hard. It's like, no, it's not. It's like the easiest shit on the planet. Laundry risk drowning in ye olden days. Go to the river. Scrub the clothing on like a wooden plank for an hour. Your hands are just like covered in calluses and stuff like that. Ye washing woman. This is why you would have like a burly Irish lady do it for you. Or perhaps Chinese immigrants or something. When the men needed sexual stimulation, they would peep upon the laundresses and their slutty laundry boards. There's like Japanese folklore stories of men going to the river and like seeing some sort of angelic, mythological female bathing in the river or washing her like magical clothing or something. And the guy steals it and is like, "You must become my wife." And she's like, "Oh no, I can't go back to heaven now that he's stolen my magical clothing teehee. Looks like I have to marry him." Common male sex strategy back in the day. Steal her clothes until she's forced to marry you. No wonder our birth rates are going down when we're not allowed to use our traditional marriage techniques, such as blackmail. Sweaty wet woman, wonder why. I immediately remember this one.
Shut up, Delmar.
He's literally me.
Guess old Pete's got the it.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Go to sleep, you little baby.
Are there tits in this? I don't think so, right? Nipples. Yeah, they're technically covered.
How to do, ladies? Name of Pete.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Everybody's gone in the cotton and the corn. Didn't leave nobody but the baby.
They're doing their laundry chat.
Ain't you gonna introduce us, Pete? I don't know their names. I've seen them first.
You sweet little baby. Honey in the rock and the sugar don't stop. Gonna bring a bottle to the baby. Don't you weep, pretty baby.
Booba.
Don't you weep, pretty baby. She's long gone with the red shoes.
He's literally me.
Need another loving baby. Go to sleep, you little baby.
5 seconds before he gets turned into a frog.
Go to sleep,
Well, you free ladies are about the prettiest.
me and the devil makes three.
Yes.
Need no other.
How the fuck has not one of them said "be gone, perverts"? Because they're doing the typical female thing where they trick unsuspecting innocent men with their sexuality.
Sleepy little baby. You and me and the devil makes three. Don't need no other loving baby. Go to sleep, you little.
A simple naked woman is boring? Yes.
Go to sleep.
Technology, we invented clothing that makes women look more attractive,
And your daddy's gone.
such as like lacy black lingerie.
Go to sleep,
That bottle of rum? I think it's moonshine.
Bones on the alabaster stones and be my elevator.
They show that he gets turned into a frog now. I can't remember if he literally gets turned into a frog or he just sort of figuratively they think he gets turned into a frog. They'll catch a cold. Wearing wet clothing is worse than being naked. As someone who was jogging yesterday in the rain, hoping I wouldn't catch a cold. Too bad these honeypots would never work on Baal. I don't have that guy's like special ability to detect honey in a river like 500 meters away while he's driving in a car. So I would just drive by the river without being able to detect the sound of the sirens. I ran naked. Well, I was wearing a windbreaker, and then the windbreaker was getting wet and sticking to my skin, which was worse than just taking it off. And when I took it off, I was more comfortable just in my t-shirt. But I was not fully naked, no. Honey, they were all of age, sir? Sorry, I've been browsing too much 4chan recently, with all the war in Iran and all, so some of the 4chan terminology has been incorrectly mixing in my brain. I meant cute and funny. There was no cute and funny in that video, I know. The woman of Kansai being led astray. Nobody was walking outside in the rain. I was completely alone on my jogging course, don't worry. Whenever there's a cute and funny thread on V, which is half of the time, basically, I tend to check it out. I mean, we're getting Pragmata soon. Also, there was a lot of cute and funny content in Resident Evil 9, I believe. I'm not really spoiling myself, but I think the main female character is trying to find her sister, and her sister appears, and she's, like 6 or something, so the cute and funny appreciators were extremely happy about this, and we're getting Pragmata this year as well, so the people who see a underage girl and are like, ooh, crying emoji, are eating very well right now. Personally, all these like underage girls in Capcom games are really making me confirm the fact that I'm a pretty normal human being, because I see the, lowly robot and I'm like, I want to give her head pats and put her on my shoulders so we can run around and she can like laugh and sing and be happy instead of being like, ooh, erotic child. So it has once again confirmed the fact that I do not have any sick sexual instincts. I'm just a normal, completely normal man who wants to see big titty, evil Kunoichi be corrected by orc cock. Vanilla stuff. You sick fuck, pervert head pats. What was her name? RE9 Little Sister? Is that what's her name? Grace Ashcroft? No, not Grace. That's the main character. What if I just put Loli? Little girl. Meryl. Emily. She has both the creepy albino shit going on, but also the hair is extremely fluffy. This thing, horrifying barefoot creature, extremely pale and skinny, with fluffy, poofy hair, made for head padding. Making the android a child seems sus on just a baseline level, like in the canon of the universe. I want a child-sized android because I don't want to have to drag around a full-size female. If I get, if my android is in a convenient, poofy jacket this size, we can have our shoulder lowly. She's basically like a weapon of mass destruction that you can carry around easily on your shoulders. I want a man-sized android so they can carry me like a tiny Pomeranian. The other day when I was jogging, there was someone who was shepherding their Shiba Inu around in a baby carriage, and the Shiba Inu was just like sitting there in the baby carriage, watching the world like it was completely fine, not walking. And I was just like, I noticed there's a lot of Shiba dogs that don't like walking in general. Like, most dogs want to go out and run, and there's just a lot of Shibas who are just like, nah, I don't want to move. It's like, oh, you're gonna carry me in a baby carriage? Sounds good. I guess your description of Shibas just being cats as dogs, the cat version of dogs, is accurate. Yeah. Those things are weird. They are very uncooperative in things that would be considered typical dog activities like running. Laziest little fuckers. I haven't seen a dog like actively resist being dragged around, like moving forward, the way I've seen some Shibas. It's very strange. Like, a Shiba was the first time I've seen a dog where the owner is just like trying to get them to move and it's just refusing to move. And it would walk like a few steps and then sit back down again and be like, bro, just walk. How hard is it for you to walk? But apparently it's very difficult. They just don't want to do anything. I was walking my friend's blind and deaf dog and a Pomeranian in a stroller pushed by its owner on a cell phone just started ricocheting in the basket like he saw Satan himself. Small dogs have no chill. We should all just have golden retrievers like our 90s movies. There's also some people who have pit bulls around here, although they're extremely well trained, so I don't feel like in danger of them, but it shows I can't escape American dog breed fashions, even in Japan, which kind of sucks. I love small dogs for that reason, but I prefer when they are trained. If you're in Japan, you kind of are forced to own a small dog unless you have like a house, right? Being able to own a mid to large sized dog in Japan is like a sign of that you're in the upper class, upper middle class at least. Most people can't afford that. You couldn't pay me to own a Shiba though? See, that's why I want a shoulder lowly android. You don't have to clean up after them, and they're helpful when you want to hack systems and stuff. Large dogs equals status symbol. I mean, you're spending like $5,000 to get a huge-ass dog that's going to die of heart failure in like 6 years. But think how fluffy they are. A nice, well-behaved small dog is so good. I don't want any dog that's going to make yapping sounds or any kind of animal in which I have to worry about stepping on it. Like, I'd be always worried if I had like a chihuahua or something, I'd just be mistakenly wandering around the house and crush its neck by mistake when I step on it. Those things look like they're made out of just like cardboard or something. Their eyes look like they're constantly popping out of their head. I don't know, man. Get an iguana again. The problem with iguanas is that unless you're living in a place that's uncomfortably hot for me, you're spending a shit ton of money on electrical lights and stuff and an aquarium. So yeah, I'm not going to own any pets besides human slavery or something. I want an animal that takes care of itself, which disqualifies most animals. Unless I'm getting like a cactus. I wish I could have like a amicable relationship with a crow or something. And then like the crow would just show up at my house and I would feed it every once in a while. That seems cool. I want to have like an independent bird that has its own bird lifestyle but also comes to me for food every once in a while. You know, Assassin's Creed style. Use your crow to scout the area. Just befriend a wild crow? Yeah. It's a lot of work though. I'm too lazy to actually do shit like that. Bro, ravens are too intelligent to domesticate. They're like, why should I be a pet when I could just own this human instead? Some animals were meant to be domesticated, like seals. We haven't done anything to domesticate seals, but they've like self-domesticated themselves immediately. We took hundreds of years to change wolves into obedient dogs that will do our work for us. And it took literally like one generation of seals to just be like, here, seal, do these complex tricks and we'll give you a fish. And the seal's like, cool. I will in fact do these complex tricks just because I like pleasing you, human. People have compared seals to like dogs in the sea, but I feel like they're somehow even more domesticated than dogs. What is the evolutionary reason for baby seals to be the cutest things that turn into turds of the ocean thereafter? I like adult seals as well. Go ahead. Call a full-grown elephant seal a turd of the ocean and see if it is nice to you or not. Elephant seal fight. Let's see if there's new elephant seal fights. I check for new elephant seal fight videos on a regular basis. Here's one from 16 years ago. Look at him go. Each of these things is like the size of 2 cars, by the way. They're also very phallic. That also makes it good. Baby elephant seals are so cute. What happened? They bulked up so they could fight with other male elephant seals. I also like how one of the leading causes of death of elephant seals is male elephant seal waddling around on the beach and crushing small baby elephant seals by mistake. These things are fucking retarded. They achieved peak male performance. They really did. Oh, so one of them won. This means I get to have sex with the females on the beach. Bloat max or final boss. If only... See, humans need to be aquatic mammals, and then we could actually bloat max, and then we could eat whatever we wanted and get fat, and it would be fine. It's a shame that we have to operate on land instead of the ocean. By the way, yesterday I spent all of my time, instead of drawing, looking at different locations to live in Japan, because I'm thinking of moving. I just like to point out that, I forgot who it was, I think it was Sunhawk in chat, who kept on suggesting that I live in Aomori because the summers were cool. And I was like, yeah, Aomori, might be a little too far up north. And then I forgot. Snowiest city in the world.
Hello, world. How does one survive living in a place that gets 6 meters or 20 feet of snow a year? Well, first off, you might want to start by not walking directly through it. But if
I told you not to go to Aomori because it's fucking cold as shit. The problem is that it's not cold as shit. It's the exact temperature it needs to be to get the most snowfall on the fucking planet.
In your hand.
冬を迎えると日本の周辺にはシベリアの高気圧から北西の季節風が吹くようになります。
Siberia is cold. Japan is warm. Relatively warm Sea of Japan. The result is this shit, guys.
Then an hour later, raining. Which makes it all the more important to have a nice, cozy home to return to, like Nakamura-san. By the
It's
way,
really
living
pretty
in
up there and not
a
too bad if you layer. I'm not complaining about the temperature. I'm complaining about the fact that I literally have to shovel
but it's
non-stop
the latest winter
the
home
top of your fucking roof, or else your roof will fucking collapse.
which is also large, as she.
回っていうことがね。
I have to do it again.
So on days that it snows, which can be days on end, you can find yourself shoveling in the morning, during the day, and in the evening.
I ain't doing that shit, bros.
Around different parts of the city, you always saw people clearing snow around their homes, like this 86-year-old that wasn't even wearing gloves. So I had a good chuckle remembering a.
I've already been living in a cold weather region,
A snow day.
and at most we'd get like 6 inches twice or 3 times.
Trizzolo was clearing snow around not just his house, but also doing it
for my neighbors, friends, probably people I even don't know.
Isn't this why people invented slope roofs? You still have to shovel the bottom. Look at that roof. It's hanging onto for dear life.
ずっとここで毎日やるのさ。性格がほらちゃんとしなきゃいけない。
すごい元気。
元気元気。もうお父さんは
This fu- has to, look at this fucking driveway, man. We ain't doing this, bro.
お父ちゃん何歳だって？何歳だかって聞いてる。
何歳だか。ああ。86だ。Highest snowfall cities in the world. In ranking, Aomori, 760 centimeters per year. Fucking 7.5 meters, guys. That's like 3.5 shacks, okay? We ain't fucking doing this, okay? Every single one of the snowy cities in the planet, they're all in Japan. We forget this shit because I'm in Tokyo. Japan is a country of extremes. Besides being, like, forced to die from earthquakes on a daily basis, it has, like, the most unbearably hot locations, the most unbearably humid locations, and the highest snow location on the fucking planet. They didn't list Yakutsk. I think Yakutsk is probably way colder than Japan. And if it's too cold, it doesn't snow. You need to have a bunch of humidity and water, and it needs to be around the freezing point to get maximum snowfall, which is probably what's going on in Aomori. Aomori has more snow than Sapporo, which is farther north. People just don't want to do this shit, guys. And by people, I mean me. So I was thinking of going to Choshi, Japan, which is in Chiba. It's on the eastern coast of Chiba. And apparently it has, like, the summers only get to, like, the mid-80s at most. And it's warm in the winter as well. It might be too rural to live there without a car. That's the only question I have. But it seems like peak Persona 4 rural Japan existence. So when it gets a little bit warmer, I might go and check out the location and see if there's nice places relatively close to the public transportation that I could live nearby. Big slice of life vibes, yes. It has a lighthouse. It has empty trains. Go to rural empty trains with fish-themed handles. It's a big fishing port, so that's not a big plus for me because I don't really care about fish one way or the other. Anyways, the problem is that I can move to literally anywhere if I want to. So people are not happy when they have unlimited amounts of choices. It actually makes them less happy. Tuna is cheap protein. It's not that cheap. Maybe canned tuna. Not if I'm getting like the good fresh sashimi, it's not cheap. Place Japan is unironically peak. We all have to go to rural Japan to have our Persona 4 idyllic experience where we're the main character in an anime and all the girls like us. I may be Rizless, fat white weeb in America, but if I go to rural Japan, I can be the main character and so on. Too many choices? You say that, but I want to go to someplace that isn't incredibly hot, which actually limits a lot of the locations. Japanese just like grin and bear it when it comes to super hot temperatures, but I don't want to grin and bear it. So that means I either have to go to altitude, or one of these locations in Chiba on the Pacific coastline, which is they're cooler because of the ocean sea currents and stuff. You can either go altitude up north or try and like find a oceanside town. I'm right next to the ocean right now, but it's not a cool kind of ocean. It's a hot ocean location, so... Did you marry your estranged Okinawan childhood best friend yet? No. It hasn't... Just a few more days, guys. I'm sure she's waiting for me. I just need to find her. This head is too small, even by Alex standards. She will have short hair, too. I will ask her to cut her hair short. Like the 1980s Coca-Cola commercials I was watching. I also don't want to go to Okinawa because Okinawa is full of all the problems that American society tends to have. It's like, you think you finally escaped America? Too bad. Okinawa is basically like a vassal state of America in the way it functions, so... It has, like, really bad traffic and shit. You run into GIs all the time. Like, you have to own a car despite it being a tiny island because they don't have a proper public transportation society. Because America was allowed to do a lot of the planning of the island. You basically get to see why American society fucking sucks in real time, despite the fact that it's technically Japanese territory. It's like, oh, the Americans planned this. That's why there's like horrible traffic jams and everyone is forced to own a car and there's no train system and so on. It's like, somehow this explains a lot, you know? Lots of teenage pregnancies and single moms. Hey, you guys want me to reproduce? We gotta go to the right location for reproduction. And that, of course, is Okinawa. Wait, is Hulk Hogan dead? I couldn't remember. Did he die? I'm having a Nelson Mandela effect right now where I can't remember if Hulk Hogan was dead yet or not. Yes? Okay. For a second I thought I hallucinated his death. Thank God. Don't worry, we're all gonna die. the death percentage for WWF wrestlers is 100%, but it's also 100% for people who did not use steroids and were not in the WWF as well, so... I can't seem to get the weird hair texture right. He's rotting in hell. Wow, everybody is so negative about this a real American hero, Hulk Hogan, who fights for the rights of every man. Why do you feel that way, guys? Hulk Hogan's just a real American hero. Or a real American badass, depending on which version you're consuming. He made it pretty far for a wrestler, considering like the average bodybuilder slash wrestler of the 70s was using enough steroids to kill them at like 30. It's shocking that he was able to live as long as he did. He made out pretty well. American Badass was The Undertaker. Oh my god, is The Undertaker still alive? See, I can't pay attention to all these guys and keep track of whether they're dead yet. Which is, very often the case that they're dead. But sometimes they're alive. I know Triple H is still alive. Vince is still alive, right? I just saw Vince in my Twitter timeline. Stone Cold did not successfully kill Vince McMahon. Shocking. Vince is in jail? Is Vince in jail? Wait, did he do like some sort of car accident or some shit? Is that what's going on? Is this like news that I wasn't paying attention to? Or is it old news? I can't keep up with this shit. Sexual assault and trafficking. Vince McMahon arrest. We talked about this. Early 2026. CEO Vince McMahon, 80, has not been criminally arrested but was cited for reckless driving following a high-speed 100 miles per hour crash on a Connecticut parkway in July 2025. He previously settled SEC charges in 2025. So that's the most recent one. He resigned from WWE in 2022 following investigations into misconduct allegations. Lawsuit remains pending. Oh, look, we have footage of it. Hold on.
And I lined my pockets with Sika's money. I paid Sika your dead peanuts. My neck. My neck. It's my neck. Somebody help me, damn it, my neck. It's my neck.
Dad! Roman! You just put your hands on a 70-year-old man. Officers, arrest that man.
Boo!
Officers, this man is a menace. He's a Neanderthal. You saw what happened. Arrest that man.
I didn't do anything.
You saw what happened. Please, arrest that man.
Stephanie is really carrying Roman in the acting department right now.
We're brought here to be your personal police department. We're here to do security, and that's it.
Yay! Pause for Roman doing his best acting.
Talk to me like that. I need to drop what attitude? Do you know?
You need to step back or you're going to jail instead of him. So take a step back. Now, I'm not going to tell you again. Step back. Okay?
Roman stands there. He literally is just standing there.
Just calm down, okay? No one's going to...
Yeah, they're gonna arrest
No,
me
they're not. Let me tell
after.
you. They will not, no. She needs to stay calm or she's going to jail. Wait, hang on.
Hang on.
Let's just take it easy. Oh, you guys think you're badasses, okay? You know who I am, okay? So, no. Okay? You don't threaten. I don't care who you are. She's not. Don't tell me you don't care who I am. I'm Vince McMahon. You can't. You gotta care who I am, pal. Oh, I know your boss. I mean, way up there, I know your boss. Don't threaten my daughter. You keep it up and you're going to jail. Don't threaten my daughter. Tell her to stay away from me. Tell her to stay out of my face. Okay? Stay out of my face. Calm down, or you are going to jail. I'm not taking. You're pissing me off right now. I really don't care. Don't do that. Relax too. Don't do that. She's not going to start yelling at me like that. No, fellas, come on. Listen, you need to back up. You need to back up. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that, guys. You know what? Take it. Take it. Come on. Come on.
Oh my God!
You're arresting Mr.
Come on, this is ridiculous. Look, he lost his temper. He's crazy. You can't do this. Don't arrest my brother, and I backed away. Quit giving me such attitude. He didn't mean to.
Calm down. Calm down. Mr. McMahon, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, wait, that doesn't apply to you. You don't have to make any statements. You know your rights. Don't say another word, you're going to jail. Let's go. Get him out of here.
I want to live in the alternate reality where instead of corporations having private security, they just have like plainclothes policemen and uniformed policemen on site for whatever occasion. And if the billionaire owner of that company who's hiring the policeman to be on site gets out of line and says something annoying to the policeman, they just arrest him and take him away. Like, you're at a Clippers game, and Steve Ballmer gets too excited and starts complaining too much, and he just gets escorted off the premises and sent to jail by the local police force that's there to keep security. I like that world. Also, I'm kind of shocked that Vince hasn't died as well yet, considering he's obviously a steroid user himself. Nostalgic for Pinkertons? I mean, we still have our Pinkertons. That's the crazy thing. There literally was a Pinkerton office in my hometown in America, which is a very liberal location. It straight up said Pinkertons on it. And I was like, what the fuck? For real? And it was like, yep. They're still there. It turns out that basically the job of being a hired thug never goes out of style. Shocking, huh? It's kind of crazy that it's still even, like, legal to just be like, yeah, our organization exists entirely so rich people can hire us and we can go, like, intimidate people when Hasbro mistakenly sends a Magic the Gathering card to somebody's house by mistake and then they want it back now. Don't dox your mom. Don't worry. The Pinkertons have a lot of different offices in different locations, and pretty much every city is extremely liberal. Modern day cops are based on Pinkertons. I think they're just based on the human desire to be allowed to operate using violence without any consequences. I don't think it's that complex. It's just like, gee, I sure like punching people in high school. It would be great if I could make that my professional career. It's also based on the very basic human desire to not die, and then being afraid all the time that whoever you're arresting might have a gun, so you feel like it suddenly is a good idea for you to just shoot everybody. For an American society in which everybody owns a gun to work without the cops, like, shooting everyone, the cops basically have to have the mentality of, like, I'd rather get shot myself than mistakenly shoot someone who shouldn't be shot. And there aren't any cops that feel that way, obviously, so as a result, they just have to shoot everybody before they get shot themselves. Anyone I knew who became a cop was the type of person everyone would groan at whenever they were around. People who seek out authority are generally the people that are least should have the least amount of authority, or are least capable of operating with authority. So yeah, in general, the people who are like, man, I really want to become a cop, like, the only benefits of being a cop are the authority you get over people, right? You have shitty long hours, you have to see some, like, nasty shit. It's a kind of a thankless job, although we do have a lot of, like, thanking going on in America. Respect the blue line shit, I guess we have a lot of that, but the number one benefit is having physical and political authority over the people that you're fucking up. So the people who are going to want to become cops are, of course, just by default going to be shitheads. This dingus who let his kitten fall into a hole in his apartment wall, so I had to kick a hole to get the baby, and he wanted me to pay for the drywall. Jesus Christ. This was a grown man. Couldn't he have just kicked the hole open himself? Was he too frail and weak to save the kitten himself? That sounds like an RPG morality quest where, like, if you want to go the lawful good route, you have to be, like, not beat this guy up, but most people choose to go chaotic evil and just, like, beat the shit out of him and then, like, steal his kitten or whatever. We actually had a like weird part in our old house back in America that cats could get into, and I forgot which cat it was, but one of the cats when I was a kid got into that hole and my mother couldn't get them out. So my mother constructed a ladder out of like wood planks because she couldn't reach the cat, and she just put the ladder in and the cat climbed up the ladder out of the hole themselves. Base cat, a dog could never. If there's one thing cats are good at, it's climbing shit. Getting down is another problem. Also, the current cat that's still alive in my mother's house is an extremely panicky, low survival instinct dumbass cat. And one time she ran outside, got scared of being outside immediately, and then ran under a car and then jumped into the hot engine, like the still hot engine of a parked car, and had to go get taken to the emergency room. And my mother was panicking because she couldn't get the stupid fucking cat to get out of the engine compartment, and the cat couldn't come out of the engine compartment themselves. And that was when I was just like, okay, I'm both done with this cat and done with like having pets in general. My job is not to clean up for like the retarded mistakes that this animal is going to make on their own. That was a truly dumbass cat who is incapable of operating outside to any degree. She was extremely cringe. Is this why your mom misses Ginger? Yes. Ginger is a smart cat who would not do stupid shit. Oh, alright guys. I'm gonna end the stream here. Oh, see you around. I will keep on grinding. I think it's time for me to start my doing my next manga. I've procrastinated long enough. See you around, boys. Good night.